Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishikam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasha Jnanajana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Guruganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chindya Chindya Samasta Vedanapanam Shirupa Patanagam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijap Pranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavananam Balarka Shilanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyam Burim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Mandetam Shivaram Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Manshakapatarubhyasya Kripasindu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and this is Madhya-lila chapter 22, the process of devotional service. So yesterday I read this verse, and I'm going to start here with text number 30, Trinta. And this verse I really very much like. It says, Yenye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavan avishuddha buddhaya aruya kritrena parampadam tata padanti addo nadrita yushmadangraya. Yenye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya kritrena parampadam tata padanti addo nadrita yushmadangraya. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but do not render devotional service to you must be of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. So, as I was saying yesterday, there are persons that rise to a so-called platform of liberation, impersonalists, and they come to that liberated stage, but they cannot sustain that position because the nature of the living entity is that the living entity is a person, and the persons have desires. You'll either have spiritual desires or you have material desires. But the impersonalists do not admit to spiritual desires because they believe that Brahman is impersonal, has no qualities, has no qualities, no individuality, etc. So they don't know anything about spiritual desires. They don't know about the nature of the soul and the desires of the soul. So what this verse reminds me of, when I was in Panama, Panama is very blue skies, has sun, but you also see there are many of these birds, buzzards. And these buzzards, they fly in the sky, and when you see them, they look to be very graceful because they don't even move their wings, and they fly in these gigantic circles. They fly in these gigantic, and they're just like floating and gliding, and they appear to be so graceful. And so that I would compare that to someone who believes they've attained a high level of liberation. But eventually, But these birds, they're not just flying gracefully and going like that. They're looking for dead bodies on the ground. And when they see a dead body, although they're flying so gracefully without moving their wings, when they see a dead body, they come down to the earth for that dead body. And when you see them on the earth, they're actually very ugly. They're ugly birds, the buzzards. They look very beautiful in the sky, but when you see them close, they're ugly birds. So the so-called liberated persons, they appear to be having some graceful position, but they don't know about spiritual desires. So they come back to this earth for so many ugly desires that they have, just like those birds. So in personalist, this verse reminds me of what I saw, that kind of bird. I think of that. Yenye ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayiyastad bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya kritrena paramparam tata patanti ado nadrita yushmadangraya. O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life but do not render devotional service to you must be of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position, to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet. They don't know what is the activity of a spirit soul is to worship the lotus feet of the Lord. The soul is the eternal servant of the Lord. So, and we see impersonalists will open hospitals, they'll help poor people because they don't know what spiritual activities are. You can say, well, and we would say, although they do this kind of work, if they helped a pure Vaishnava, they might get some benefit from doing devotion, having done devotional service. But otherwise, for instance, somebody may be feeding the poor, but they don't know what to feed them. What are they feeding them? What are they feeding them? They're just feeding them. They're not giving them prasadam. They're giving them something stale, old, useless. You say, oh no, their food is fresh. Yes, but we see it like that. They have no idea that foodstuff is. All foods are meant to be used in the service of the Lord. So anyway, these persons, they think that they're, and that's just we could say the tip of the iceberg, because they're doing so-called beneficial work. Because they don't have any idea of what is spiritual activity, actually they're just floundering in this material world. Because we have seen anybody in this material world who lives and dwells in this material world, there's not any future in that. Krishna Surya Samamaya Hoy Adhikar Jahan Krishna Tahanahi Mayara Adhikar. And I remember when I was young, I asked, let's say, a priest, what happens after you leave, after you die? What activities are? What happens? In other words, I'm kind of indicating, I don't know the words, but what happens after death? What are one's activities? And he said, I don't know. And then when he didn't know what happens after death, what happened, And I thought, boy, if you don't know, then why should I follow anything spiritual or religious? Because it's just an imposition upon me, and because it limits my enjoyment, and what is going to be the basis after death? I mean, after having submitted to all these self-imposed restraints, what will be one's activities after death? And he didn't know. So then you think, well, in this world, it's by my childish vision, it seems to be some limitation on how much I can move around and enjoy. And then after death, I don't even know what will be the result. You don't know. I mean, he's being honest, but it wasn't very satisfying. One wants to know, what are the activities of the soul? What do people do after they leave this body? I mean, it's a question. I don't think hardly anybody considers that. I mean, some people think, oh, you go to heaven. And if you go to heaven, you can take maybe not take all your possessions, but maybe some of your important possessions. And you can take and your family will be there, and your dog will be there. I mean, people have this conception that heaven is like that. It's a glamorized material world, basically, they think. Krishna Surya Samamaya Hoy Adhikar, Jahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikar. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy, will immediately vanish. Krishna Surya Sam Maya Hoy Adhikar, Jahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikar. So is anyone familiar with this verse? Does anyone know where this verse, where have they seen this verse? Can anyone say? Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoy Adhikar, Jan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikar. It's in Bengali. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, influence of the external energy, will immediately vanish. Krishna Surya Sam Maya Hoy Adhikar. Does anyone know where they've seen this? Okay, where you could have seen this is on the masthead of Back to Godhead magazine. That was where this is. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. So, like that. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated, Ritertam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyad atmano mayam yata baso yata tama. What appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusory energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of real light in the shadows, for in the light there are neither shadows nor reflections. This is one of the verses, what they call the Chatushloki, from the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered to contain those 4 verses. They say from those 4 verses, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam has been expanded. They're considered to be like the nucleus verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chatushloki. Wherever there is light, there cannot be darkness. When a living entity becomes Krishna conscious, he is immediately relieved of all material lusty desires. Lusty desires and greed are associated with rajas and tamas, passion and ignorance. When one becomes Krishna conscious, the modes of passion and darkness immediately vanish. And then the mode of goodness, sattva gun, remains. When one is situated in the mode of goodness, he can make spiritual advancement and understand things clearly. This position is not possible for everyone. When a person is Krishna conscious, he continuously hears about Krishna, thinks about him, worships him, and serves him as a devotee. If he remains in Krishna consciousness in this way, the darkness of Maya certainly will not be able to touch him. It's a very, very beautiful and nice explanation. You can derive some benefit by taking that deeply.
The Chatushloka, are they 4 verses that are together?
Yes. It actually goes, when they quote them, kind of goes, as far as what they're to contain, it goes like 1, 2, 4, 3. I mean, but the 4 verses are there together. And
this is one of those verses?
Yeah. It's in the second canto. You see that? Okay. Why do I still have a check that you have to pick up?
Come after.
Okay. Vilaja manaya yasha statum ikshta pate muya vimohita vikatante mamaham iti durdya. The external energy, the external illusory energy of Krishna, known as Maya, is always ashamed to stand in front of Krishna, just as darkness is ashamed to remain before the sunshine. However, that Maya bewilders unfortunate people who have no intelligence. Thus they simply boast that this material world is theirs and they are its enjoyers. Yeah.
The verse that you were talking about before, so it says in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.34 that's stated, so is that just, that's the same verse in Sanskrit and this is the Bengali of it, or how is that?
No, that's that verse, one of the 4 verses, that's the Sanskrit verse. This other verse is not, this other verse is just, is here quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's in Bengali. It's not one of the 4 verses, and I don't know the direct correlation, but Prabhupada quotes the Chatushloki and the purport of in explaining this verse. But the 4 verses, the Chatushloki, you can see it's when Lord Brahma comes into the universe. After Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from his navel comes, Lord Brahma is born on that lotus that's coming from Garbhodakshai Vishnu's navel. And he doesn't find anything but darkness, and he's the creator. So he doesn't know what to do, Brahma. And he hears the word tapa, to engage in austerities. And then he does so, and he meditates. And anyway, these Chatushloki is more or less revealed to him, to Brahma, that by the Lord, and gives him some understanding. So, and we hear the verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Tane Brahma Ridaya Adikavaye Muyanti Suraya. That I gave Tane Brahma, Brahma means spiritual knowledge. Tane Brahma Ya Adikavaye to Adikavaye, the first living entity, which is Lord Brahma. Tane Brahma Rida, in his heart, Ya Adikavaye. So into the heart of Lord Brahma, Adikavaye Muyanti Surya. The Lord reveals spiritual knowledge into the heart of Brahma. So we can say that Chatushloki refers like to that. Now, here it says, the external illusory energy of Krishna, known as Maya, is always ashamed to stand in front of Krishna, just as darkness is ashamed to remain before the sunshine. However, that Maya bewilders unfortunate people who have no intelligence. Thus, they simply boast that this material world is theirs and that they are its enjoyers. The entire world is bewildered because people are thinking, this is my land, America is mine, India is mine. Not knowing the real value of life, people think that the material body and the land where it is produced are all in all. This is the basic principle behind nationalism, socialism, and communism. Such thinking, which simply bewilders the living being, is nothing but rascalism. It is due to the dark... I love that. Such thinking, which simply bewilders the living being, whether this is mine and America's mine, Indian is mine, not knowing the real value of life, people think that the material body and the land where it is produced are all in all. This is the basic principle behind nationalism, socialism, and communism. Such thinking, which simply bewilders the living being, is nothing but rascalism. It is due to the darkness of Maya. But as soon as one becomes Krishna conscious, he is immediately relieved from such misconceptions. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. There is also another appropriate verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shashvat prashantam abhayam pratibodhamatram shudam samam sad asatha paramatma tattvam sabdo nayatra puru karakavan kriyarto maya paraiti abhimukecha vilajamana tatvai param bhagavata paramasya pumso prameti yad vidur ajasrasukam vishaukam. What is realized as the absolute Brahman is full of unlimited bliss without grief. That is certainly the ultimate phase of the supreme enjoyer, the personality of Godhead. He is eternally devoid of all disturbances, fearless, completely conscious, as opposed to matter, uncontaminated and without distinctions. What is realized as the absolute Brahman is full of unlimited bliss without grief. That is certainly the ultimate phase of the supreme enjoyer, the personality of Godhead. He is eternally devoid of all disturbances, fearless, completely conscious as opposed to matter, uncontaminated and without distinctions. He is the principal primeval cause of all causes and effects, in whom there is no sacrifice for fruitive activities, and in whom the illusory energy does not stand. This verse was spoken by Lord Brahma when he was questioned by the great sage Narada. Narada was surprised to see the creator of the universe meditating, and this caused him to think, there might be someone greater than Lord Brahma. While answering the great sage Narada, Lord Brahma described the position of Maya and the bewildered living entities. This verse was spoken in that connection. Krishna tomarhan jadi bole ek bar, Maya banda hoite Krishna tare kore bar. One is immediately freed from the clutches of Maya if one seriously and sincerely says, my dear Lord Krishna, although I have forgotten you for so many long years in the material world, today I am surrendering unto you. I am your sincere and serious servant. Please engage me in your service. Sakrideva prapano yas tavasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day on I am yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. This verse from the Ramayana was spoken by Lord Ramachandra. So Lord Ramachandra speaks this verse from the Ramayana in relationship with Vibhishan. Vibhishan is the brother of Ravana, and he's a great soul, but he isn't favored so much by Ravana and also his son Indrajit, because Vibhishan is a sage, and he tells Ramachandra, you've stolen Sita. And this, told Ravan, you've stolen Sita, and this is going to bring ruin to you and the whole Rakshasa race. They're living in Sri Lanka. They're going to destroy the whole Rakshasa race because you will be punished for this action. And Ravana and his son, they don't want to hear this. Why you speak like that? Who is this Rama? He's just an ordinary human. We can defeat humans. No, he's not an ordinary human. You've got it wrong. So then, finally, Ravana and I guess it's Indrajit, they become upset and they cause Vibhishan to leave. And then Vibhishan goes to Ramachandra and the monkey soldiers led by Hanuman. And he's there, and at first they're suspicious because they think, oh, this is Ravana's brother. He's not our friend. So they're doubtful about Vibhishan. But then Ramachandra says his verse. It is my vow that if only one seriously surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day I'm yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. So Ramachandra said, no, Vibhishan is a surrendered soul. He's surrendered unto me. And he surrendered in sincere, and he has said this. He is seriously surrendered to me. He said, my dear Lord, from this day on I am yours. I can never reject that person. So Ramachandra says that. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami suburi jadi hoy, gara bhakti joge tabe krishnara bhajai. Due to bad association, the living entity desires material happiness, liberation, or merging into the impersonal aspect of the Lord, and he engages in mystic yoga for material power. If such a person actually becomes intelligent, he takes to Krishna consciousness by engaging himself in intense devotional service to Lord Sri Krishna. Okay. Akama sarva kamo va mokshakamo udaradi tivurena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether one desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, that person is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. So, akama sarva kamo va. Whether you don't have any material desires or whether you're completely full of material desires, that's all you have. Akama sarva. Akama means without desires. And sarva kama. Sarva means all, everything. You have everything desire. Everything you see, you will desire. If you see a nice car, oh, you desire that. If you see a nice woman or a nice, attractive person, you'll desire that. If you see anything, something that is shiny and bright, oh, I must have that. So, akama means no desire. Sarva kama means full of desires. So it says, akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether one desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, one is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. So this is a very nice verse, and it's very positive, because it means you can be free from desires there. You can have all kinds of desires, but it is still in your interest to worship Krishna. Why? Because Krishna will satisfy your desires, but at the same time, by the association with the devotees, you will come to, your desires will disappear. So, and it is said Krishna can satisfy your desire, but he will not award something that will cause you to approach him repeatedly, more or less asking for the same thing. He'll teach you while you're desiring. And I remember one example Srila Prabhupada gave. He said when he was a small boy, he always desired to put his finger into the electric fan that was moving. He always was trying to put his finger, Prabhupada, he always trying to put his finger into the electric fan. So then he said, his father slowed down the fan. And then his father said, oh, you want to put your finger in the fan? Okay, go ahead and do it. So he put his finger in the fan. Ping! And then his father said, now do you want to put your finger into the fan again? No. So Krishna satisfies your desire. It was his desire to put his finger in the fan. But then at the same time, he helps you learn, So somehow or other, I don't know how his father slowed down the fan. Otherwise, fan's going very fast, you put your finger in it, you can get hurt. But his father slowed it down somehow. Maybe he unplugged it from the wall and it was slowing down. Now put your finger into it. Bang! And then, but not so fast that it will hurt him. But now do you want to put your finger into the fan again? No. So, one learns. One's desiring something like this. How many times have we desired something and when we get it, we think, oh, well, this is not so great. I thought this was really great, but now I see it's nothing. You can say, well, where's that? Sometimes I remember once, maybe I'll get excommunicated for this, but once I heard Srila Govinda Maharaj say, what does champagne taste like? Then I was thinking, I don't know. So then I was on a plane, like United, and I had got a lot of mileage. So they said, they moved me from the coach class into like first class. And then on first class, they always come around. Would you like something? I said, yes, I'll have a glass of champagne. And they brought me this fancy glass. And then, because I remember Govinda Maharaj said, what does champagne taste? And then I tasted it. Wow, this is horrible. This just tastes like wine with bubbles. It's horrible. I hate wine and I hated the taste of champagne. And I just took a sip and then I wouldn't touch it again. And then after about 10 or 15 minutes, a lady comes again and I say, okay, you can take this away. So she must have thought, this guy's a complete madman. He's ordered a glass of champagne. I bring him a glass of champagne. He hasn't taken any of it. And he takes it, gives it back. Well, she would have watched, you'd see I couldn't stand the thing, just tasted one drop. It was disgusting. And she took it back, but maybe she thought, he is a fool. I give him a glass of champagne, he doesn't even drink one drop of it. Or maybe she thought, oh, our champagne is not of a sufficient quality for him. He's a connoisseur of champagne. But I don't know. So many things you desire, and then when you get them, you actually think, this is horrible.
So what's the cause of not being able to learn the lesson? Like, is it lack of intelligence or lack of good fortune?
But you do learn some lesson, don't you?
But like time after time after time, we keep trying. We keep trying to stick our finger in the fan. It's not like we do it once and then we're like, okay, now I get it. It's like we have to do it over and over and over.
Well, some people, maybe we're not quick learners. Anyakami yadi kore Krishnara bhajan namagiteha Krishnastare dena svacharan. If those who desire material enjoyment are merging into the existence of the absolute truth, engaged in the Lord's transcendental loving service, they will immediately attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. Although they did not ask for it, Krishna is therefore very merciful. Well, I remember once Srila Prabhupada was explaining a verse, and it says, I'm trying to remember the verse, but it says, by regular attendance in the Bhagavad class, by by regular attendance in the Bhagavad class, one's desires will be diminished almost till nil, or something to that effect. And somebody says, well, what's that mean? Almost to nil means almost to zero. What's that mean? Almost to nil. And Srila Prabhupada said, it means it is gradual. It is gradual. It doesn't just happen overnight. It is gradual. So you're saying, oh, what causes us to desire something over and over again like we don't learn? What you are learning, but it is gradual. It's not immediate. It's not like just you turn some switch and all of a sudden you're Krishna conscious. I mean, it can be like that. It can be like that because there's, I forget the name of the one king. He got a desire. He was granted a desire. He wanted to know. He was a fighter, and he wanted to know, how much longer do I have to live? Like he was granted that benediction. He would know how much longer he has to live. So the answer came something like this: how much longer do I have to live? Well, about 2 minutes. Some short time. So when he heard, I think it's Maharaj Katvanga, that's the name. When he heard how short he had, short time to live, then immediately he gave up everything and he became Krishna conscious. So maybe we don't see any urgency, so we're slow learners. But when you're faced with something more urgent, then maybe you learn more quickly. When there's some urgency, then you learn quickly. And like I said, I was on a flight in Russia where it seemed like the plane was going to crash. They couldn't get the landing wheels down. It's hard to land a plane without wheels, right? They couldn't get the landing wheels down. So they're flying around, and over, I guess, the ocean, there's the Baltic Sea, they're dumping gasoline or something. I read the other day some flight in the United States, they were being sued for that because they were going to land, emergency landing, and they were dumping fuel, but they dumped fuel on top of people. They flew low and they went over a school, and this jet fuel landed on top of adults and children. And they were suing because they said, we were swallowing jet fuel, and they were suing the plane company because that's not the procedure. The procedure is not to fly low and dump jet fuel on top of people. You're supposed to fly high and the jet fuel will dissipate in the air. But they didn't do it that way, so they were being sued. But in this case, they were dumping fuel, I guess, over the Baltic Sea. And they thought the plane was going to crash. A lot of people were really frightened, even Russian people, because they were really frightened. They thought they were going to die. Honestly, I wasn't frightened because Govinda Maharaj was on the plane. I didn't think the plane was going to crash. I didn't think the Lord's going to, just Govinda Maharaj is going to die in a plane accident. I really didn't believe that was going to happen, and it didn't. But I remember Govinda Maharaj, he turned to his servant, I think his servant was Bimalananda, and he said to him, "Are you ready to die?" And Bimalananda was a young boy, and he was like, no, Gurudev. He wasn't ready to die. But I think if you were really like Maharaj Katvanga said, how much longer do I have to live? Well, about 30 seconds. Then you'd really take things seriously. Then you'd really want to become Krishna conscious fast, right? There is a thing called the renunciation of the graveyard. And this means, in India they burn people's bodies when they die. Or in America, they bury them. So sometimes if you have a friend or a father or mother or someone close to you, and they're being buried or they're being burned, then you can sometimes get some understanding in the graveyard. You think, oh, this person lived for so many years and did so many things, and now what's it all come to? It just comes to this: dead. Then what's the use of trying so hard to get this and get that and do so many things when this is the way you wind up? There actually is a case where people have some momentary realization, but when they leave the graveyard, it goes away. So when Haridas Thakur was in a prison, the prisoner, he was put in jail, the prisoner said to him, "Oh, Haridas, you're a great saint. Pray for our liberation. Pray for us to get out of this jail." He said, "I'm praying that you may always stay in jail." And they go, "What? You're a saint, and you're saying you're praying that we may always stay in jail. What is that?" And he said, "Well, the reason I said that, because while you're in jail, you're always praying to God. You're always thinking about God. Please, God, help me and all that. As soon as you get out, you'll forget all that. You'll just go back to your normal activities, whether you're robbing houses or killing people. As soon as you get out, you'll go back to your normal activities," he said. "So therefore, I'm praying that may you always be in jail. While you're in jail, you're really meditating. You're really reflecting upon God. Oh God, please help me, my dear Lord. I'm dependent on you." But as soon as you get out, that will be finished. So he said, "So then it's better for me to pray that you'll always be in jail, because right now you're doing good." But, not that he's wanting everyone to stay in prison the rest of their life, but he's giving them some lesson. No, you're doing good now. Why should I just pray that you'll get out so you'll become criminals or mundane persons or materialists or greedy businessmen or whatever you're going to do? Or you're wind up chasing after women again? What's the point? Why should I pray for that? But in other words, he's not praying that they always stay in jail, but he's praying that they always may think of their relationship with the Lord. Anyakami jadi kore Krishna rabajan na magiteha Krishna tare dena svacharan. If those who desire material enjoyment or merging into the existence of the absolute truth engage in the Lord's transcendental loving service, they will immediately attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, although they did not ask for it. Krishna is therefore very merciful. So it said, even whether you have no desires or whether you are full of desires, you should go to Krishna, because Krishna can satisfy even your material desires, but he'll do it in such a way that he'll teach you, that you'll eventually see that this is not really something I want. Because you can understand, when you were a small child, if you saw somebody else playing with some toy, you immediately wanted that, and then you fought with that person over something that's of no value. If you gave the same toy to an adult, here, you wanted this. Maybe you wanted it 30 years ago or something. You wanted this. You say, well, what do I want with this? This is for a baby. Throw it away. So, you do learn. You don't always desire the same things. You heard that story? An old man was fishing. I'm finished with the story. An old man was fishing, and a frog jumped into his boat. And the frog said, "Kiss me and I'll become a beautiful woman and I'll marry you." So he put the frog in his pocket. The frog said, "Didn't you hear me? I said, if you kiss me, I'll become a beautiful woman. And he said, but he's an old man. He said, at this stage in my life, I'd rather have a talking frog. Krishna kohe amabache mage vishai suk amritera chari vishas mage evora murka. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia to drink poison. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia or nectar to drink poison. Now, I'll read this last verse on here. Ami vigya e morke vishai kene diba svachanarnamrita diya vishaya bulaiba. Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So this may be happening, but you're not aware of it. The Lord is saying, since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. But he may do it in a way that, you'll learn. Those who are interested in material enjoyment are known as bhukti kami. One who is interested in merging into the effulgence of Brahman or performing the mystic yoga system is not a devotee at all. Devotees do not have such desires. However, if a karmi, jnani, or yogi somehow contacts a devotee and renders devotional service, Krishna immediately awards him love of God and gives him shelter at his lotus feet, although he may have no idea how to develop love of Krishna. If a person wants material profit from devotional service, Krishna condemns such materialistic desires. To desire material opulence while engaging devotional service is foolish. Although the person may be foolish, Krishna, being all intelligent, engages him in his devotional service in such a way that he gradually forgets material opulence. The point is that we should not try to exchange loving service for material prosperity. If we are actually surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna, our only desire should be to satisfy Krishna. That is pure Krishna consciousness. Surrender means not that we demand something from the Lord, but that we are completely dependent on his mercy. If Krishna likes, he may keep his desire in a poverty-stricken, if Krishna likes, he may keep his devotee in a poverty-stricken condition, or if he likes, he may keep him in an opulent position. The devotee should not be concerned in either case. He should simply be very serious about trying to satisfy the Lord by rendering him service. Yeah. Okay, so you get it, right? Something we're saying. There are so many things that we desire, but if you really see the desires, what are they? Where are they at? So I'll say one last story that I heard from the Shastra. There was this man, he was a leper. You know what a leper is, right? Leper means, we've seen lepers, that means their fingers fall off, their nose falls off, their skin just like, they're lepers. You see them, they don't have any fingers. Their fingers have just melted away. It's a disease. It causes your nose to fall off. You lose toes and all this. It's just like horrible. So, maybe because it's contagious, they move the people out of town. In India, like lepers don't live near people so much. And you see them sometimes with bandages on their hands and they're begging. So there was this leper, and he was married and his wife was very nice. But this leper was really infatuated with this beautiful prostitute. And he desired her very much, But he's poor, his wife is poor. And that prostitute, she's so special that she charges a man 1 diamond to be with her. Another very costly prostitute. And of course, this leper man, he can't afford this. He can't afford that. So his wife secretly goes to the prostitute's house when she's not there, and she cleans up the whole house and makes everything very beautiful and nice. The woman comes home and she sees this. For several days, it's going on like this. Somebody's really taking care of her place and doing it very nicely. And she's happy. And then finally, the woman, that poor man, that leper's wife, she reveals to the prostitute, my husband, he's very foolish. He desires to be with you, but we're very poor, you know. So the prostitute says, all right. She explains things to the wife, and she says, bring him to me. So the man goes to the prostitute. But before anything is going to happen, the prostitute serves him a meal. And one meal, and that man is like a beautiful, but full of nasty things. And your wife is like this pure, you know, the pure things here. The gold plate, everything looks very pretty and nice, but it's just nasty things there. And on this other plate is what, and you're by nature attracted to that. So you should understand. And that's more or less that's the story. It's longer. There are parts, other things about that, other part in the Puranas. It's explained in other ways. But that's the basis of it, you know. Sometimes what is looking very, very nice is not so nice at all. You know, you're thinking, you know. Something you're attracted to, you don't necessarily know what that is. It just looks something nice. Anyway, had a lot of stories today. I didn't read so many verses, but so anyway, like that. Have to learn in life that there's so many things that, you know, if you actually see things for what they are, then you can understand them better. Like for instance, I always look and I see this is a nice car and that's a nice car. Well, my brother, his son, is a BMW mechanic. He fixes BMWs. He doesn't drive a BMW because he doesn't like them.
He knows how much they break down.
What?
Because he knows how much they break down.
No, because he said after such and such a date, like 2000 or something, they just went downhill. He didn't think the construction was as good as it used to be. He drives an Audi. You know. So sometimes we see something, and I see, not to get personal or anything, but I see some of these new cars. Like I saw it in Mexico, went with Ashram Mars to buy a new car, and I saw this car's good, and we both agreed. We went there, and he got that new car, and I got one in Guadalajara for the devotees there. It was much cheaper than in America, the same car. But I asked him, does this have plastic parts on it? They said, only on the front and the back. Only on the front bumper and all the pieces around the bumper where the headlights are, and only on the back near the back bumper and the taillights and all that. That's all plastic, molded plastic. I saw in one Toyota car I was driving on the freeway and had been in an accident, not yours, but but I saw that the car had been in an accident and there was a round hole in the rear bumper. But metal doesn't break like that. Plastic does.
Mm-hmm.
So, then now my car rides and it goes fast, people tell me. Well, my car rides and it goes fast, but it doesn't have any plastic pieces in the front and back. So maybe that's what my brother was referring to, that he said these cars have gone down in quality because not only they make plastic parts for the front and back, they also make plastic parts that are there, in some cars, they're there in the gearbox. Some of the gears are made out of plastic. But you don't know that, but they wear away. And if your transmission fluid drains, those gears can burn up. But metal doesn't work like that. So then I think, do you think I'm wrong? But some things have deteriorated in quality, but they look very beautiful. They look very nice. What do you think?
I like the old cars.
I don't. I don't.
Que sean de plástico.
I like older cars also.
What?
I like older cars also. Generally, like 90s cars.
Okay.
But I mean, that's more of this.
Well, I have a 90s car, a 1994 car, and I like it very much. But some people I know they like antique cars, like from the 50s and 60s, like.
Yeah, that's too old for me.
But not necessarily American cars, like Jaguars and Dimers and all. But I'm not one of those people. Anyway, just an idea. I'm just saying, sometimes we see something and we're attracted to it. But if you actually knew what was going on with that thing, maybe you wouldn't be so attracted to it. Like the cars, they'll say, oh, we designed the cars like that, so if you're in an accident, the whole front and back of the car will collapse, but it will decrease the impact on the driver, because they crush, and that reduces the impact on the driver, so they're actually safer. But that also means if you're in a small accident, your car will be totaled. So I'm going to stop here. I mean, nature of being in this world. Not everything is as it appears to be.
Like what decade did the cars start being made that way?
Around 2000. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Janavaya Nama Janavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jai hoite Vignanasha Vishta Puran. Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taranas. Kasamar Paraninu Mora Panchagas. Hare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebas. Janame more abhilas. Jai Gosai Jabe Bache Koilabas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Binduman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratam Mudas. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Tara Sadashi Shimai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Astatara Sadashi Shimai Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Mayapur ki jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Saparshada Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Koladvip ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai, Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai, Gaur Brahmanande Hari Hari Gaur.
Maharaj ki.
Yeah.